Speaking of Disney, though, let's talk about the Disney Plus series National Treasure getting canceled.
Yeah.
So this was a funny thing that happened this week, where basically the new National Treasure series, which I don't think anyone actually knew was airing on Disney Plus because like nobody gave a crap. Basically, they made this show not starring Nicolas Cage or his character, but they took a young Latinx dreamer and made her the focal point of the show. And it was about a adventure that had to do with like her family and her heritage of being like a strong Latinx woman. And nobody watched it. Surprise, surprise. And so after one season, it got canceled. And Disney basically is moving on with little to no fanfare. But this wasn't a surprise to anyone. Brian, since you were the only one on this panel who probably watched it, let's start with you. Are you surprised that?
No. I'm not remotely surprised. So I'm a massive fan of National Treasure, the original, not the TV show. I loved it. I thought it was like it could have been the next, Indiana Jones kind of franchise before a younger generation. I wanted to show my kids. My kids loved the movies, and we were like, the TV show's coming out. Woohoo, right? In the first episode, they refer to her as a dreamer. I'm not joking. In the first episode, it starts checking boxes right away, and and you think, oh, it's gonna set the tone, the mood, and then go from there. No. Every episode gets worse and worse and worse. It's like you're watching. It's like if Tumblr made National Treasure the TV series. That's what you got, and it was just horrible. And I got to the point where I was watching it because it was bad, not because it was National Treasure. I was just waiting for the next ridiculous crap to come out of the actress's mouth. It was crazy bad.
Disparu, you've made a career reviewing bad TV shows. Did you ever consider reviewing National Treasure?
I did. I watched the first episode and I thought, I can't even make a video out of this. There's no way I could make this entertaining, so I'm not even going to try. Yeah. It was so stupid. One of the it opens with a puzzle right at the start where they get to a door, they need to find a code, and she just went, we need a code. So she runs back in, looks at a wall where there's loads of lines, and she groups them up in the most bizarre way possible. There's like almost an infinite different way you could count these lines, and she just comes up with the right answer. One of the things, because I really like National Treasure as well, one of the things about it was that it felt like a mystery that was actually being solved. And, I'm a Brit, so the whole bit of, here's the Constitution, it was like, it didn't really hit with me, but I liked that was there for other people. And I liked that whole element of, this is a guy who really loves his country, and he's getting engaged with the history of it. Whereas
and him trying to figure out the mystery, he wasn't a superhero.
No.
Like she was like next level, almost like autistic.
Yeah, she would just look at something. Like they had a puzzle box and she just went and it was solved. Like, why? What happened? What?
Like it was magic.
How was any of this work? There was no reason for it. She just kind of knew, and everything just coincidentally fell in line.
She figured out the 1,000-year-old box on a bus heading to school.
Yeah.
Right?
She just started moving things and it suddenly worked. That was the thing. He worked out through knowledge and actual like wisdom and puzzle solving, whereas everything just it was one of those things where it was so random. It was like they were trying to make people think it was really complicated just because you didn't understand it. It's like, no, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But loads of people will think, I don't understand that, it must be above me kind of thing. And it's kind of how it felt with this. I also didn't like, obviously you've got to have Nicolas Cage if you're going to make a National Treasure thing.
Yeah.
But maybe you could have done it with an American one. But from what I read in this, it wasn't even like an American treasure. It was an international treasure, if anything. And it was focusing on entirely...
It was from like South America or something, right?
Yeah, so I think you missed your entire target audience, and you changed National Treasure so much from what it was. It was basically just a brand name, which is the problem with all these kind of things.
Yeah.
You use an IP, and you deliberately exclude everyone that was interested in it in the first place.
Dude, you know what it reminded me of? You ever buy like a $300 TV, and you're like, it's got to be good because it's a Sony or whatever. And you plug it in, and you can't. The sound sounds like a cell phone speaker, and there's pixels missing. You're like, what's going on? No, it looks like someone just wrapped it in the box.
It almost sounds like you're referring to an Elgato camera.
Right.
So, Mr. Reagan, what do you think about this concept of taking a franchise which hit massive success starring a straight white male and replacing him with a strong Latinx female dreamer. And for those of you who don't know what a dreamer is, it's basically under Obama, there was this thing called the Dream Act, where basically illegal immigrants who had been born and raised here in the United States were made
not
legal
born
citizens,
here, but they were brought here when they were very
brought
young.
here and raised here, and they were made quote unquote legal citizens under this act. And so like this character is a strong Latinx female dreamer.
The way you say that, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, we all know that if you get woke, then what happens is that you go broke. That there's a saying, something like that. Anyway, this show was so bad that they didn't even market it. It's like they knew. They watched the show and they said, okay, we can't market this. You know what I mean? And why is it so bad that they can't market it? It's not necessarily because it's a woke show. You can actually do woke things in a way that's okay. I actually consider Andor woke. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but Andor was hugely successful. I mean, it wasn't successful in that it, had a huge audience or anything, but people really love Andor. And I didn't, but a lot of people did. So you can do it well. But here's the problem. If you get people in, it doesn't even matter if they're, I don't care what race you are or what, it all has to do with your like political ideas. If people have these political ideas, even if they're white males, straight white males, or anything else, doesn't really matter, and that's your focus, you want to get these woke messages out through your project, the vast majority of the time, you're going to neglect the thing that matters the most, which is making your project entertaining. And so that's why when you get woke, you go broke. It's because you're so focused on pushing these idiotic political ideas. The same thing was actually true in the 90s with like Christian rap. My mom once bought me a Christian rap cassette tape. I had no idea what this was.
We call that crap.
Yeah, exactly. MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice were popular at the time. I thought, okay, I don't know what this is. I'll play it. It was terrible. Why? Terrible. It's because they put the Christian message before the quality of the music. They cared more about the messaging than they did about the music. Now it's not so much like, the Christian conservative message that's being, forced into media, but it's this sort of leftist religion of wokeness. If we can, push this idea that, trans women are really women, or, illegal immigrants are fabulous. If you can push that into our project, that's going to, give it some kind of soul or something like that. All it does is it completely strips of anything entertaining. This is the same concept as Picard season 2, right? They had this big push for, ICE agents are evil, immigrants are fantastic. And then they made a whole show about this. Of course it's going to be crap. Of course it is.
Called Star Trek, but it took place in modern day Los Angeles.
Yeah. Let's go back in time and deal with a current political issue.
Hey guys, if you could do me a quick favor, if you like this episode and it tickles your fancy, or any other episode that we've done in the past, share it on social media and tag us in that post so that we know you're talking about us, and we will immediately jump onto that app and we will respond to your tag, and we can talk about what you like about the episode and possibly talk about something that we might want to cover in the future. And we would love to bring you in our community. We have a wonderful Discord app as well. There's a bunch of people in there that just love chatting with us. And we'd love to hear from you. So if you like this podcast, tag us in that post and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you guys so much. Back to the podcast.
So Matt Vader 74, obviously Disney tailored this series to appeal to the Latin audience, but none of them showed up to watch it. Do you think that this is a wise strategy for studios to try to cater to a certain demographic that just doesn't care about what they're doing?
Well, that's what Hollywood and these studios do now. They have check boxes that they have to make to legitimize their product. You have to have 40% Latinx and 30% BIPOC people and 2% white people, and 80% of those people all have to be LGBT, XW, CYN people, and it's a terrible strategy. Nobody wants to watch this stuff because it's all about virtue signaling, and it's not good. It's terribly written, and they're just mining old content to destroy and shit out on these streaming places. It's just, it's we knew it wasn't going to be good from the get-go, right? I mean, did anybody even care to watch it simply because they put it out there? There was no reason for them to make this. Nobody wanted it. Nobody asked for it. It was crap.
Yeah,
and
Nicolas Cage wasn't involved at all.
Nicolas Cage wasn't in it. You know, I'm looking at reviews for it over on Rotten Tomatoes. Kind of funny.
So, Brian, a lot of people in the chat were kind of surprised at Latinx or Latinx. I know Paulie from Latino Slant, he will kick you off your stream if you even mention the word. But, you know, for those of you, the people out there who haven't heard this before, since you are our Latinx representation on the panel, can you clarify what exactly that is?
Latinx is a stupid term coined by people that don't want to take the time to say Latina or Latino.
So it's basically a gender neutral form of the Romance language.
Yeah, but isn't it true?
By the way, I'm going to be on Latino Slant's channel next Wednesday. And if I really want to leave and he's going too long, I'm just going to start screaming Latinx.
I love that guy, by the way. We did a live stream with him.
Paulie's great.
He's great.
Great.
Totally underrated.
What were you going to say, Disparu?
But isn't it true, though, that they're trying to be inclusive by using the letter X, which isn't even used in the language? And so you're essentially colonizing somebody else's language for your own ideas, which is probably the worst thing you could possibly do.
Well, what's funny is that word was made up by white people to refer to an entire community, and the people in the community are like, we don't use that. That's not what we use. But all the white people are like, no, that's what you are. You know. So, Mr. Reagan, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't know a single Latino who appreciates the Latinx, Latinx thing. They all hate it. Every Latino I ever met is just annoyed by it, deeply annoyed by it.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, really quick. I have a question for our Hispanic brothers in the chat and Brian over here. Is Speedy Gonzalez really racist?
I don't think so.
I'll tell you what. I can only do one Hispanic accent, and it is Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah,
and any Latino I meet, they love it. They love Speedy Gonzalez, man.
Yeah, I like Speedy Gonzalez, man.
Because I haven't seen a Speedy commercial or Speedy cartoon in years, and it's because they took him off, and I'm kind of upset about it because he was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm pissed that they took Mrs. Butterworth off the freaking.
I know.
You know what? This is the most insane thing about removing cultural icons from products and TV shows or whatever. You're removing all the ethnicity from this product to then replace it with what usually is a bland vanilla white version of it or whatever. It's like the art. It's like the act of colonization, but it's wrapped in social justice. It's so weird to me. It's so weird.
Speedy Gonzalez is a superhero. How many Mexican superheroes are there?
Well, there's that one from Wakanda Forever. Pretty sure.
The villain, you mean? The super
villain? I didn't watch the movie. I don't know.
I just saying I miss
Speedy.
I miss Speedy and I miss his cousin Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Yes.
And I want to see some new stuff. That's all I'm saying. So.
I think you should do some kind of fan film, Speedy Gonzalez versus the guy from Wakanda Forever.
But that's not. Yeah, that's always been the problem.
All he has to do is run really fast and dry him off. Then he wins.
That's always been the problem with this stuff, because at the one point they want to say representation is important, and well, we've got this representation over here. No, not that. It's well, what's wrong with that? Well, you're saying that they're all one sort of person. You're well, that's exactly what you did. You just want to represent them as what your idea, what your stereotype is, and they're not allowed to move out of your box. So it's not that they even have a problem with it. It's just we want to control what the image is that's being put forward. And
this is why you make the big bucks.
Even in The Simpsons, it's recently come out and gone, yeah, doing a poo was one of the most abominable things I've ever done in my entire life. I'm don't you think you're over-egging the pie, mate? You were a voice on a cartoon. I was no, this really harmed people.
Yeah, what a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, how many funny German voices do people do because, they want to sound like Hitler, It's fine. It's
not
fine.
a personal attack,
Jeez.
yeah.
Hey guys, if you like this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and comment below on your favorite video as well. That goes a long way with helping us boost our channel and get out there in front of more people. And it lets YouTube know that we're doing something right. And if you want to catch us live, we go live 2 times a week, once on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time and on Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So join us there in the chat. We will see you on the live stream. Stay salty.